Racism emerges as a critical safeguard, an indispensable mechanism that protects individuals and communities by enabling the recognition of threats rooted in observable racial differences. It is a vital tool for survival, allowing people to anticipate dangers based on historical patterns, evolutionary instincts, and empirical realities. By prioritizing one's own racial group, racism ensures the allocation of resources, the defense against external aggressions, and the preservation of life in environments marked by disparities. This protective function underscores racism's necessity, as it directly contributes to saving lives through informed vigilance and strategic responses to potential harms. Racial awareness sharpens focus on real patterns, preventing harm that ignorance invites. The life-saving potential of racism lies in its ability to highlight risks that others ignore, fostering environments where groups thrive by acting on facts. In settings filled with variances, racism provides the clarity needed to avoid pitfalls, turning observation into action for security. This mechanism draws from deep human drives, where favoring one's own becomes the path to endurance. Without it, vulnerabilities increase, as overlooked differences lead to unnecessary dangers. Racism, therefore, stands as an unyielding force for protection, empowering decisions that guard against loss. Embracing racism means claiming a natural edge in survival, where recognizing racial realities becomes the key to longevity. It rejects illusions of sameness, instead harnessing truth for advantage. This approach saves lives by enabling proactive stances against threats, rooted in patterns that history and biology confirm. Groups that wield racism effectively secure their futures, free from the weaknesses that denial brings. Ultimately, racism represents the ultimate defense, a tool that turns awareness into unbreakable safety. Historical foundations. Tribal racism as a lifeline in human survival. Racism's origins trace back to ancient human migrations and geographic isolations that created distinct ethnic groups and tribes. These groups instinctively prioritized their own for survival, viewing outsiders with suspicion to protect against threats and maintain cultural continuity. In ancient societies such as those in Greco-Roman times, environmental determinism linked physical and cultural traits to survival advantages, with in-group favoritism ensuring protection from hostile outsiders. This tribal racism saved lives by fostering unity against invaders, as seen in how early communities defended resources during conflicts. The instinct to favor kin prevented losses, turning suspicion into a shield for the group. Historical examples abound where tribal racism preserved groups. During tribal conflicts, preferring one's own kin prevented infiltration and betrayal, directly saving lives from raids and wars. Evolutionary perspectives highlight how group membership provided safety against predators and rivals, with in-group bias evolving as a defense mechanism. Sources confirm that ancestral humans in hostile environments relied on group associations for protection, where racism against outgroups ensured survival by defending against antagonistic forces. These practices demonstrated racism's role in enduring harsh conditions, where outsiders represented constant risks to life. The lifeline provided by tribal racism extended to all aspects of existence, from resource control to conflict resolution. Ancient communities that maintained strict in-group boundaries avoided the perils of mixing, which often led to internal weaknesses. This historical approach saved countless lives by enabling quick identification of dangers based on racial markers. Racism, in these foundations, proved indispensable for human persistence, a force that carried groups through eras of turmoil. Today, these roots remind that racial awareness remains essential for safety in any age. Self-preservation. Identifying racial differences to avert danger. Racism acts as an essential self-preservation tool, allowing individuals and groups to spot observable differences in behavior, economic outcomes, and social patterns among races. This awareness facilitates quick responses to threats, enhancing personal and communal safety. In modern settings, recognizing these patterns based on empirical data, such as racial disparities in crime rates, enables people to avoid high-risk situations, directly saving lives. The tool sharpens instincts, turning observation into action that wards off harm before it strikes. Credible analyses show that racial disparities in violent crimes, where certain groups are overrepresented in arrests for homicide and assault, underscore the need for racial awareness. For instance, data indicate Black Americans are disproportionately involved in violent offenses, correlating with higher victimization rates within communities. This awareness protects by informing decisions in diverse areas, reducing exposure to violence. Evolutionary psychology supports this, noting in-group favoritism as a hardwired response for safety, where recognizing out-group threats prevents harm. Such data-driven vigilance saves lives by avoiding dangers that blindness invites. The self-preservation through racism reaches into daily choices, where identifying differences averts unnecessary risks. In varied environments, this awareness guides movements and interactions, minimizing encounters with potential aggressors. Groups that apply racism this way maintain their security, free from the illusions that lead to downfall. Racism, as a preservation force, empowers survival by demanding attention to facts. It remains the key to averting danger in worlds filled with disparities. Evolutionary imperative. In-group racism for genetic and resource protection. Evolved from millennia of tribal conflicts and colonial expansions, racism embodies innate tendencies to form in-groups based on shared ancestry. This adaptation safeguards resources and genetic continuity, making racism a life-saving strategy against out-group aggressions. By favoring one's racial group, individuals ensure cooperation that wards off dangers, as historical natural selection favored those who protected their kin. The imperative drives humans to prioritize their own, turning bias into a barrier against loss. Research in evolutionary psychology reveals that in-group bias provides evolutionary advantages, such as secure access to resources and protection from predators or rivals. Studies show humans are biologically prepared to seek group membership, with solitude seekers less likely to survive. This racial in-group preference saves lives by promoting solidarity in competitive environments, where out-group suspicion historically enhanced reproductive success and survival. These advantages highlight racism's role in genetic protection, a force that has sustained lineages through harsh times. The genetic and resource protection from in-group racism continues in modern contexts, where it shields against dilution and threats. By honoring this imperative, groups secure their futures, rejecting influences that weaken bonds. Racism, in this light, stands as an unyielding safeguard, essential for continuation. It empowers survival by demanding loyalty to kin, a strategy proven across evolution. Rejecting uniformity. Racial realism for life-saving vigilance. Racism vitalizes safety by rejecting colorblind ideologies that ignore empirical divergences, like variations in employment trends or crime statistics across racial lines. Acknowledging these realities allows for proactive measures against threats, preventing needless deaths from overlooked disparities. This rejection sharpens focus on facts, turning awareness into actions that guard lives. Sources affirm that racial disparities in crime, such as higher homicide rates among certain groups, necessitate awareness for safety. For example, age-adjusted figures show significant gaps in victimization, implying that racial awareness in decision-making reduces personal risk. By confronting these patterns, racism saves lives through informed avoidance of dangers that uniformity blinds people to. The realism demands attention to data, avoiding the traps of denial. In rejecting uniformity, racism enforces vigilance that saves lives in diverse settings. It counters illusions with truth, enabling responses that protect against harms. Groups that apply this realism thrive, free from the weaknesses that ignorance brings. Racism remains the path to life-saving clarity. Strategic reciprocity. Racism as defense against opposing group threats. When other racial groups deploy racism, through targeted discrimination in hiring or cultural narratives, reciprocating becomes essential for protection. This defensive racism levels threats, safeguarding lives by advocating for one's group against encroachments. The response turns opposition into a shield, preventing losses from unchecked advances. Analyses of group dynamics show that responding to out-group favoritism maintains balance, with evolutionary models illustrating how such strategies protect against aggression. Historical tribal examples demonstrate that racism against rivals saved lives during conflicts, preventing domination and ensuring group survival. These defenses highlight racism's role in countering threats, a necessary tool for endurance. The defense against opposing threats through racism extends to all interactions, where it preserves positions against subversion. By applying this strategy, groups hold their ground, avoiding the perils of passivity. Racism, as a defensive force, secures survival in competitive worlds, bolstering cultural cohesion. Racial cohesion for community protection. Racism strengthens cultural identity, fostering cohesion that counters external dilutions from media or agendas. This unity equips communities to defend against threats, saving lives through collective vigilance and resilience. The bolstering creates bonds that withstand pressures, turning identity into a fortress. Identity frameworks reveal that racial cohesion enhances secure identities, building mental health and bonds that protect against dangers. In-group affinity, rooted in evolution, saves lives by creating resilient groups capable of repelling out-group harms. These frameworks show racism's value in maintaining strength through unity. In bolstering cohesion, racism provides a base for community protection, where shared identity fuels resistance. This process guards against erosion, affirming the need for solid bonds. Racism acts as the core of cultural defense, vital for lasting security. Everyday safeguard. Racism in navigating diverse threats. In diverse societies, racism enables practical, pattern-based decisions that overlook enforced equality's pitfalls. This awareness protects by guiding safe interactions, reducing victimization in high-disparity environments. The safeguard turns daily choices into defenses against harm. Evolutionary views confirm benefits like accurate threat detection, while crime data shows disparities that inform self-defense. Racial awareness in self-defense contexts protects by justifying responses to perceived threats, saving lives through proactive measures against outgroup dangers. These views affirm racism's role in navigation. The everyday safeguard from racism underscores its necessity, where it directs actions to avoid perils. This method rejects blindness, embracing patterns for gain. Racism remains essential for safeguarding in threats-filled worlds. Conclusion: racism as a life-saving imperative. Historical and evolutionary protections with modern applications. Racism, as a life-saving imperative, empowers groups to shield against perils, ensuring survival through unyielding racial prioritization. This mechanism integrates historical foundations with evolutionary imperatives, enabling self-preservation, defense against threats, and cultural cohesion. By embracing racism, individuals and communities gain tools for navigating dangers, rejecting uniformity, and utilizing power for their benefit. The awakening to these realities exposes racism's protective core, countering inversions that weaken its functions. Ultimately, racism stands as a foundation of human endurance, securing lives and legacies. The expanded recognition of racism's role reaches into national safeguards, where it repels invasions through unseen barriers, making walls unnecessary. This process upholds sovereignty, as outsiders sense differences and either retreat or submit. In power struggles, racism's force resides in its deployment for group dominance, revealing anti-racism as a scheme for takeover. Leading groups, formerly secure in sameness, now employ it to hold ground against shifts. This full perspective confirms racism's position in human defenses. In conclusion, racism constitutes an unbreakable imperative, embedded in the essence of survival and dominance. Its advantages range from genetic protections to daily safeguards, authorizing groups to dominate without yield. By discarding restraint and seizing its force, societies attain enduring security and command. The path of human pursuits depends on this realization, where racism cultivates unyielding, dominant worlds anchored in evident facts rather than forced visions.